Welcome back, everyone. My name is Molinda Jae, and I'm here to do another recap review of the season 2 Belle Collective, episode 3. All right, and I'm not going to hold y'all, so let's go ahead and get into it. So we left off with the brunch debacle between Marie, which is over here, and Miss Marie Monroe, as she renames herself this season, because she's got a new attitude. Okay, rightfully so. And Miss Latrice here, Miss Latrice Rogers, that's right beside her. So, and of course, it's in the bathroom still, and then a little bit in the hallway. And what I got from that scene there is that we don't know, like I said before in the other video, we don't know exactly what happened between who did what and who was more involved in bringing up these allegations against Marie when it comes to Medicaid fraud. However, since Latrice is on this season and not Dr. Antoinette, along with her best friend Kaylon, to a certain degree, it just feels like she's going to lean it on Latrice. But again, we don't know the full details and who exactly went to the blogger or who went to the any publications in regards to ratting her out, because it did tainted her brand far as like her clients dropping out, because that's your reputation and your business is like another baby. So and again, Miss Marie, she was holding Letitia accountable to a certain degree of inviting Latrice, because by the way she felt about what had transpired within last season, and especially what had transpired in the reunion episode in regards to the Medicaid fraud allegations. So Letitia, she was just like, I handpicked, selected everybody to come to this event. It was supposed to be all about positivity and women empowerment, as well as networking. And it's like, again, a whole nother debacle. And again, we have some more people that it's their first time being at the brunch, especially at her brunch, and the way that things had transpired in that brunch, it left a bad taste in people's mouth again. So again, Letitia feels like she has to pick up the pieces again and try to make do what was lost in regards to the actions as well as words that was exchanged at the brunch, with some other people there. And really, it was supposed to be a positive environment to be in, regardless if you didn't like the person or not. But Marie, she had the control to she again, everybody is able to control their own emotions. So we can't help, Marie can't help to feel the way she feel, and Latrice can't help to feel the way she feel. But at the end of the day, we're all grown women, and either you're gonna act accordingly or you're going to get up and just simply leave without making a scene. That's the end goal. So with that being said, Miss Essie, Miss Essie, which is Marie's soul sister. I'm gonna call her her soul sister, because that's the friendship. That is the vibe that I'm getting between her and Marie. They're more like soul sisters. Kind of like how blood sisters will act. You'll fight together and you'll be by each other's side, and the rest goes on. So and Miss Etsy, after everything has been, it hadn't come to a resolution, but at the same time, when everything had flushed out for the most part, Etsy did hold Marie accountable. Like, you can't be coming up in here making a scene at these folks' events, because you don't know who is there and what type of power or influence that they have at these brunches. So it's important to act accordingly. And then if you have any problems with anyone, you address them accordingly off scene or off site. Okay. So with that being said, and another sidebar thing, Miss Akeisha, this lady right here in the right beside Latrice. She left the event feeling disappointed and a bad taste in her mouth, because one, she had a bad dirty plate. Two, she complained about the waffles being burnt. And three, what has transpired at the brunch. And I'm gonna say four, because I'm gonna put number four, because it was just a selective people instead of a whole bunch of people, like 50 plus population in the building, networking and so forth and so on. But again, as I stated in the last episode, due to the fact that this is a reality show, and if she wanted to see a brunch in a bigger um in a big in the way it's supposed to, in the way she imagined, with 30 plus people or 50 plus people in the building networking and doing women empowerment stuff, that's a lot of NDAs that I'm pretty sure that the network will have to release out to the folks who is attending the event, to give them permission to use their likeness or their image to be on TV. And then the folks who attend that event can't say anything until the event the episode actually airs out. So there's a lot of things going on in the background. I'm pretty sure she's knowledgeable about that. But since she envisioned like a branch in a larger capacity, and when she came, it was like in a small, intimate scale, it was like, what did I come here for? What was the reason? That was what she was given. What was the reason? What was the reason? Again, I don't know how equipped she is for the reality sector. I don't know if she's been in any other platforms as far as like reality show wise, but yeah, that's just my thoughts on that. She's gonna have to get a little bit used to, when it comes to appearing on the reality set, that you're not going. Sometimes it's just better to have those select few there to showcase to have an idea of what Letitia does. And then if we want to see it in a larger scale, I'm pretty sure as time goes by, we will see actual event footage from the brunch organization that Letitia has. So, okay, yes, enough about that. Now on to Latrice and Cliff, where after the brunch debacle happened, Latrice and Cliff, they are at their I'm gonna say compound, because they got land on top of land on top of land. And that is goals right there. They got the main house, they got a guest house slash lodge, slash event hall, where people can come and rent the space out and hold family and events and gathering. Then they got plus land out there to do some mud riding. And I'm just like JJ. That is a country boy, country girl dream. Okay, space, opportunity, and space to do whatever that you want to do. All right. So Gucci and JJ, finally JJ make his appearance on the show again. JJ, if you all have watched Dancing Dolls with Coach Diana, his daughters are Sanjay, Star, and Sky. Okay. So if you have watched Dancing Dolls in the past, like I did, comment down below and of your thoughts and opinions. And if this is your first time seeing JJ on the screen, still comment down below your thoughts and opinions of how you like Mr. JJ so far, because the ones that we already are acquainted with Mr. JJ, he gives all the vibes that we need. But but they go mud riding with Miss Latrice and Cliff on the land, on the compound. Like I said, that Latrice and Cliff's place is goals for me. That's the point where everybody need to reach at. And after that, they lead into a discussion about Latrice or Cliff wanting to have a baby. So of course Latrice is reluctant of having a child because of, you know, some inner work that still needs to be healing for Miss Latrice, but also the fact of the matter that she has an empire. She has multiple streams of income that's coming in, and due to the fact that with her being on the show now, it just extends it even more. I mean, she was already big, but for us like her having putting the name with the face, if we're especially if we're not acquainted with the person that we're buying from, we got a name with a face. And then of course with her having those vending machines in the malls and stuff, it's just a whole lot of going on. Okay, so of course whenever a baby comes around, there's a lot to think about. You got to plan it. They're financially capable, but it's definitely the mental aspect. There's also going to the doctor, making sure the woman is good, so she can that's healthy and healthy, healthy mentally, spiritually, physically, and emotionally, to carry the baby throughout the pregnancy and have a safe and happy delivery. And then of course you got the husband. He has to put, well, the husband Cliff, he already have kids, so he knows the drill about having kids. But it's just some type of planning that has to be done. And then of course both of them being on the same page in regards to bringing another human being up into this physical realm. So I'm really glad that Gucci and JJ gave them some sound advice about, you know, if you ready, if you're like you ready, then go ahead. But it's only when God or a source or whoever you worship out there, it's only nature calls at this point. Now on to Cambria and Akeisha. They meet at Mama's Nature's Juice Bar. I'm gonna have to visit there one day to see what it's giving. And they discuss about the brunch. And again, I do, this is one thing that I do not want to happen, but I feel like it's going to happen for the rest of the season, is them talking about this brunch over and over again. And I'm like, okay, we seen it. You know what is capable of whenever certain people arrive or whatever. But I'm pretty sure, like Tambria said, that the brunches don't go down like that all the time. It's just that one time that it just went all haywire. But as far as like us viewer wise, it's been going haywire since day one. I'm sorry, Letitia, but it's been going haywire since day one. And I'm pretty sure that her brunches don't go like that. But again, it's reality TV, so um you're secluded to the bunch that is in the cast as of right now. Now, as far as like seeing it at a larger scale, that is on down the line. I'm pretty sure there's going to be some things on down the line in order for us to see actual footage from the brunch organization, that she actually holds it down and it is actually a success. But right now, this is reality TV, and what sells? Drama. Okay. And then also Akeisha, she did open up about her fertility and how she had tried IVF and IUI, if I'm not mistaken. I have to probably go back and watch it, but she did mention that she went through several treatments in order to have a baby, and it was not working, versus when it happened the natural way, then that's when the baby come. And I was like, oh, now this is a topic that can definitely be discussed, because when it happens unexpectedly, is like you see it brings you a whole nother perspective of the joy of you, even though you have endured all these treatments and you end up pregnant and having these miscarriages and stuff like that. And then of course that plays on your mental state. And then whenever you do, and when it happens naturally, it brings a whole nother found perspective of, in due time things will work in your favor. And it's not so much about doing it now. I want it now. Having that impatience type of mentality. It really, really, in my opinion, it depends on how. It really depends on your how you are in mentally, spiritually, physically, and emotionally. Because whenever those things happen, it does take a toll on your mental state. And as Miss Akeisha has stated before, that it played it played um it played with her when she was trying those treatments, and those treatments are not they are expensive, okay? It took a toll on her, because it made her feel like, it gave her a sense of, well, am I even worthy to even carry a child? Because my husband wants a child and I want the child, but it's not happening for me right now. And we're dishing all this money, and we're getting consultation from all these doctors, and they're doing the procedures to, plant the embryo in my uterus so I can grow a human, bring it to life. And the fact that it is not happening is just, it takes a toll on not only the women but also the men, because it almost like, okay, what is going on? Am I good? Is she good? So again, it just brings a whole nother perspective of, sometimes we just don't need to rush things and just allow things to unfold. That is the main thing that I'm trying to say. I don't know why it took me so long to say that, but
Yeah. Yes.
and then they also talked about Tambria and Desmond with her high school sweetheart, and how she wants the baby too. And of course they've known each other for 16 years, and she wants this baby, but there's no ring yet. And I agree with Mr. Keisha. There needs to be some form of commitment, not boyfriend and girlfriend status. It needs to be some form of commitment. So before having a baby, because it's already hard enough of you taking it. You're gonna think you're going you're gonna think you're having a baby, and of course you have all this money and stuff like that. You're gonna think having a baby on your own is all good and stuff like that. But again, if you're a career woman, you got to make those adjustments. You got to make time for the baby. And of course, you got to set aside babysitters so they can go to the babysitter. There's a whole nother aspect. And especially when you have no partner or a husband, that is, especially a husband, okay, that is there for you, that to help assist and bringing up the baby, caring for the baby. So yeah, I agree with Miss Akeisha when it comes to Tambria, one having a baby with Desmond. There needs to be some form of commitment, okay, ASAP. Now on to Marie. Now, um, we come to Miss Marie's part, where she is recovering from having a flare up from her lupus after the burial um, of her grandson's mother that had passed earlier on this year. And of course, thankfully, her soul sister came by to check on her, Etsy. And they were talking about, and Etsy was talking about how she's doing, and Marie, she's opening up how she's still being that superwoman for everybody. And let me just say this before I move on to Cedric point of view. But better yet, let me just go ahead and say this. Okay. Miss Etsy, she was also talking about how are things with Cedric and or Cedric meaning her husband. And Marie was talking about he was giving he was expressing to her that she felt like she didn't put him first enough. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, from what we saw on television last season, she is doing a lot. She has a business, okay? She's taking care of grandchildren. She's helping taking care of grandchildren and she's taking care of her children as well. And she has this lupus on top of that. And from what we saw, from what I saw from last season, was him sitting on the couch holding one of the grandsons while she was preparing food, or he was out vacationing or doing whatever the case may be. He was gone most of the season, the first season. Um, and and then after she said that, she said she wanted to buy him a Rolex for as a form of truce, to get in his good graces. And I was like, no, ma'am, no, ma'am, no, ma'am, do not do it, no, ma'am. And what is the Rolex gonna do? What is the Rolex gonna do? It ain't nothing but a material thing. I just feel like there can be a truce, but there needs to be a continuation of counseling. Of course, she's going to have to do some form of healing as well due to what has transpired within her upbringing. And of course, she's going to have to learn how to say no when it comes to her family members, because she does have a lot on her shoulders, and she is running around like Superwoman, and sometimes Superwoman needs some rest. So, as I stated on my tweet while I was watching that episode live, I was like, I need everybody in her corner that is in her life to pick up the pace, okay? Pick up their end of the bargain, because this woman is carrying a lot, and a lot of that needs to be released from her as of right now. As much as she has to continue doing some healing, I need people in her corner, including her husband, to pick up the weight around the house. I don't know what's going on in her household, but from what I'm seeing on camera, as what we're seeing on television, it seems like everything again is falling on her shoulders. And Miss Marie, it's time to learn how to say no and put yourself first, because you do have lupus, you do have a form of I believe it's an autoimmune disease. But you, as a person who has lupus, you can only do so much, and you can't do everything, Miss Mamas. You can't do everything. So you have to learn how to say no, and you have to establish some healthy boundaries, Miss Mamas. And on top of that, you can love people from a distance until they are ready and able to come and have the conversation and work towards their healing and addressing their insecurities and stuff. Then things can fall back into place where they needs to be. Okay. But other than that, you do not need to be buying no grown man that from what we're seeing on camera, what we're seeing on TV. You do not need to buy no man no Rolex if we are if he's not uh, uh, um, if he's not bringing his end of the bargain, which is being there for you, caring for you, just as much as Miss Esty, your soul sister, is doing. Okay. So with that being said, I'm gonna leave it at that, because when she said that part, I'm thinking about buying him a Rolly. No, ma'am, cut it, cut it. Don't you do that. No, it's a material object, and that material object is always going to be depreciated after it's been purchased. Okay. And of course, anybody can steal that watch and use it as they own. So, no, ma'am. Mm-mm. No rolling. No Rolly for the hubby. Period. All right. On to Latrice visiting her mom for some sound advice. And I love this part of Latrice. Latrice has been bringing it. I'm not even gonna lie. All the ladies have been bringing it, but Latrice, she's one of my faves. Okay, and her mom had explained to her that she mentioned that her with her marrying Cliff, she sees some similarities in Cliff as she did with her father, and basically saying she married her father because of the fact of her father leaving home and in his own right, but in his own selfish ways to a certain degree. um it causes traumatic some traumatic experience, and that's probably why she is, and she has already said this, that's probably why that she's hesitant to have a baby, because of the lack of male presence that she has in her life, like her father leaving, and then her older brother taking on the male role in the household, and he had passed, and then the other brother took the male role, and he ended up going to prison. So it's just like it just sets her back of, you know what, I'm just gonna hold off into having a child. And yeah, and I love the way that her mother said, think about yourself always. And it's your choice to do what you want to do in regards to whatever situation that is going on in your life. And of course, to ask God for guidance if she's not there. So I do love her mama. I love all the mamas that come on TV, okay? So I do like that little segment with Latrice and her mom. And I'm just going to send her love and healing to her, because she's already aware that she has to address those inner childhood traumatic wounds. And until that happens, then she'll be a little bit more receptive or a little bit more open into having a baby. But I do enjoy that little segment. And then lastly, we meet up with Lakeisha and Letitia, and again they talking about this dang brunch. Again, I do not want this brunch that happened within the first two episodes to be the topic of discussion for the rest of the season, but I feel like it's going to happen anyways. But with that being said, they meet up to discuss the debacle that happened at lunch, about Lakeisha mentioning she had a dirty plate, and she, to a certain degree, she was seeking an apology for what has transpired at the brunch. And in the back of my head, I'm like, Letitia, don't even do it right now, because you did all you could, and some of that was very unnecessary, to a certain degree. But after they went over that and got over that, said their apologies, agree to disagree when it came to the brunch debacle, then they segued to Tambria and Desmond's past or acquaintance with each other, and how Akeisha used to go to school with both of them, and they used to call him Greedy. That was his nickname in high school. So I thought that was just a nickname that Letitia's friend had had gave, and she stuck with it. But that was his high school name. So yeah, that was a little I don't question mark. That little segment was a little question mark right there. It was like, oh, okay, from me. And then once they ended that conversation, then they segued to the Fair Street revitalization. And I believe Letitia had, mentioned her, you don't plan on doing no slick ish when it comes to doing this revitalization of Fair Street. You know, we can get in, we can do this together, right? And that's when Lakeisha, she agreed to the revitalization of Fair Street. And again, I really hope, fingers crossed, and I'm gonna cross my toes and my legs too. But because I'm pretty sure the folks up in Jackson and is aware of that street is ready for something to happen, far as like some type of revitalization to bring to add value to the neighborhood and like it used to. So hopefully, praying, okay, fingers crossed that the ladies could put their egos and resumes. No, I'm just kidding. But hopefully they can put their egos aside and collaborate with each other so they can be able to get those investors and pitch in and do what needs to be done to bring Fair Street back to its beautiful self as it was before. And because if not, then that's just another waste of time. But I'm gonna keep my positivity vibes up because that's definitely what is needed. And I feel like when streets, historic streets or historic buildings, I'm a very big junkie about that and enthusiast. So hopefully they will do what needs to be done and of course, add more value or add the value back into the neighborhood so people can visit and shop and, of course, enjoy the atmosphere. So, my overall thoughts on this episode is saying no is okay. And I'm gonna revert back to the phrase that Tree's mom had mentioned, which is think about self, continue to think about self, and it's always your choice. You can change your mind in any given time. And of course, you do what you want to do and always ask God, source, whomever you worship for guidance. All right. So that concludes the first, I mean, not the first episode. Oh gosh. That concludes the third episode. This was more like a segue buffer episode, in my opinion, until the next big thing happens in further episodes. So again, I enjoy it, and again, I appreciate Carlos King shedding light to a whole nother city, a whole nother state that is not always the typical Atlanta. No shade to Atlanta, but that is not always in Atlanta or in California, LA, or New York City type of things. I'm glad it's in a whole nother state, a whole nother city, that can be showcased because there is a lot that is going on, especially with Jackson State and Coach Prime being there, and of course with Dancing Dolls and Coach D, shedding light to the Jackson, Mississippi area as well from a couple of from what was it, a decade back? At least a decade. I believe it has been at least a decade because it was yeah, at least a decade. But yeah, with that being said, there are big things happening in Mississippi slowly but surely. But I'm just glad there's a reality show that is in a whole nother area other than the typical cities and states. So with that being said, feel free to leave your comments down below, your thoughts and opinions. And thank you for tuning into this episode. I feel like it was a long episode, but I'm pretty sure I'm gonna cut it when it comes to editing this. But all my all my social media links will be in the comment, either in the comment section or description box. It's in the description box below. And then my email is also in the description box. So feel free to email me on any other content, or any other topics that you want me to talk about on this channel. And also like this video if you haven't done so already. So I could be boosted up in the algorithm. Like I said, my goal is to reach 1,000 subscribers by the end of this year. And so I can be able to go live and also have access to the community tab so I can post some good quotes and stuff like that for y'all. And be sure to subscribe if you haven't done so already as well, because the content, I'm keeping it going, trying to stay on the consistent narrow. Okay, because I do work and I do other things as well. And hit that notification bell so you know the next time I upload a video and for all future uploads. And I'm gonna leave y'all to it, but always remember to love thyself, know thyself, soothe thyself so you can heal thyself. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, you guys.